What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Nick Reviews a Silly Movie He Found. You might be asking, hey Nick, you've never done an episode of that before, what do you mean welcome back? And to that I say, shut up, what are you, my mom? On a real note, I actually started making this video way back in January of 2023, but then I ran into a bunch of issues during the process of making it that I just sort of abandoned it, but I just couldn't let this video go to waste. I put in way too much effort. Now as of filming this, it's September 2nd, 2024, geez, and hopefully this video will be up within this month. I do have to apologize in advance because the video resolution of me is not great. I'm not really sure what went wrong because I recorded it in 4K on my iPhone, but it does not look that way. I also want to mention real quick, you might see versions of me with different various hair lengths throughout the video. That's because not only did I record footage in January of last year for this video, but I also recorded footage in January of this year for this video. And the only reason I'm even recording right now is because some of that footage was out of focus and it took me 8 months before I decided to re-record it. But without further ado, here's the past 2 versions of me with the video. Enjoy. What's up guys, and welcome back to my first commentary video. You've been here before, right? You're a time traveler. Oh good, well let me take you back to about a month ago. Today was part of the week, and I was walking around Big Lots aimlessly when all of a sudden a big dragon appeared from the heavens. Here, take this, the dragon said, clawing over a DVD. What's this, I asked. Content, he replied. He then took a huge bong rip, did a kickflip, and ascended back to the promised land. I got in my car and drove home as fast as possible to insert the movie into my toaster, and oh boy was I delighted. That's right, today we're going to be watching Welcome to Smellyville, a movie about trash-eating aliens whose home is threatened when a contractor wants to build a spa where they live. Originally, this was a German film named Die Oakleys, which itself is an adaptation of the book The Ogleys of Smellyville. Fun fact, the author of the book, Erhard Dietel, totally butchering that name, is actually 69 years old at the time of recording this video. Nice. In 2021, this movie had a theatrical release in 9 territories, ranking in a total of $1.9 million in box office sales. Now this is a huge flop considering that the budget was anywhere from $5 to $10 million, assuming that this website is a reputable source of any kind, but I couldn't find information regarding the budget anywhere else online, so we'll just stick with it. Now that you have some background, without further ado, let's get right into the movie. So the movie starts off with a little girl flying a dragon kite in the park while her mom is distracted on a nearby bench. Suddenly, a real dragon that's seemingly powered by farts and has an entire family of green creatures on its back swoops in, and the girl drops her kite terrified, and understandably so. The girl shouts, "Mommy, look!" And without looking up from her phone, her mother says, "We'll be going home in a minute, darling, okay?" Which, okay, terrible parenting much?
Oh, stop doing this! Ow, ow! Oh, I'm to the white!
Second, you little dragon. Never get peace and quiet. But anyways, that's not important. That green family on that farting dragon, however, now that's important. Meet the Ogleys.
This is Mossy.
And this is Messy.
And this is Ugly Grandpa, Grandma,
Ugly Mom,
Ugly Dad,
and
Ugly
Ugly
Baby.
The Ogleys are smelly green creatures, origins unknown, who eat, live, and breathe garbage, which means they love your cooking. They crash landed onto a dump in a small town called Smellyville and decided to make it their new home. One thing you'll learn pretty early on is that the Ogleys just love to use the most nonsensical expressions ever. Just look at their reactions to the dump once they arrive.
Galloping gargoyles, look at this!
By my toady turds. Are we there already?
Enter the main character, Max, who's 100% just Lewis from the Robinsons. Max is always in a hurry.
Yeah, that boy's always in a hurry.
He's also the mayor's son. Not that this fact necessarily fits there, but I had to get it in somewhere. Max is in a rush to meet his best friend Lotta and her uncle, a deranged scientist, to finish up a machine they've been working on to fix the town's odor problem. But first, Max quickly stops home to get some supplies when he's inconvenienced by his mom, and I shit you not, her name is Lady Mayoress.
Lady Mayoress.
Gee, what a way to remove any and every link of personal identity. Okay, do you have any ideas for what the name of the wife should be? We have all the other characters down, so I think after this we can wrap it up. Well, we can call her Jessie. Oh yeah, that could be fun since her husband's name is James. What do you got? Peach, like James and the Giant Peach. Ah, now we're thinking. Good, good, good. What about woman wife? Woman wife? Yeah, woman wife. Woman wife? Well, for one, I like it. Oh, shut up, Gary. You like everything. Woman wife? I kind of like it too, to be honest. Really? You guys are okay with the supporting lead's role name being woman wife? Yeah, why not? Majority rules, I guess. Instead, I think I'll call her Carol. So Carol enters the room telling Max he needs to practice the cello.
It's time for
Cello practice?
This of course delays Max's plans, but provides this very relatable teenager moment.
Have you left yet?
Cello practice. My mother.
But uh-oh, breaking news. Smellyville's smelliness has taken a toll on the economy. Businesses are performing so poorly that they're having 110% off sales. That's right, they're paying you to shop at their stores. It smells kind of funky in here.
I know. Please just shop here. I'll do anything. I'll literally give you my livers. Please just shop here.
But Carol's had enough of this and decides to send her husband, the mayor, to a luxury spa resort for the weekend so she can connive behind his back. Connive. Carol meets with the contractor, Mr. Hammer. Hammer? I hardly know her. They're meeting to discuss building a super spa and where the dump is.
Bye-bye, rubbish dump. Hello, wellness temple.
Now, it's very clear in the way that Mr. Hammer just is that he's supposed to be the villain of this movie, but I'm not sure why. Why would we hate him for this? Cleaning up the town, getting rid of pollution? Maybe there's something I'm missing, but as long as he's getting rid of it all in an environmentally safe way, I don't see the problem. Also, just a little side note, Carol has an Apple Watch, but it's on the Explore page for the entirety of the film. Okay, so it's not really focusing that well, but you can see that this is what it's supposed to look like, or, I mean, this is just one of the watch faces, but, you know, it's supposed to show a time. And this is the screen that Carol is on for the whole film. Back to Max, who, upon arriving at the dump, instantly bumps into the Ogleys. 2 seconds later, licked in the face by a dragon. I don't know about you, but I'd be freaking the fuck out if that happened to me. Max, though, must have bigger balls than I. Just look at this absolute Chad's reaction.
Ew.
Just completely unfazed by the dragon standing 2 feet in front of him. Ew is the reaction to stepping in dog poop, not the reaction when you're face to face with a mythical being.
Give me all your money.
Ew, is that dirt on your gun? You don't maintain your firearms cleanliness, bro? That's disgusting. What? Give me all your money. Aren't you scared? I have a gun to your face. Yeah, a dirty one. Hey everyone, look at this loser with a dirty gun. Dirty gun, dirty gun, dirty gun, dirty gun.
No, please, no, this has to be a dream. No, please, not again. No, please, no.
Oh, good. It was just a dream. Yeah, a dirty one. Nevertheless, Max continues onto the dump and catches up with Lada and her uncle, who are unfazed by an Ogley who just sort of starts chilling with them. The uncle powers up the Distinko-Mat and it begins to suck up all the bad odor that's around them. However, he accidentally made the machine so strong that it went from sucking up just air to all the surrounding trash as well as that nosy Ogley. Say that times 5 times. What? Say that 5 times fast is what I meant to say. Jesus. Anyway, nosy Ogley, nosy Ogley, nosy Ogley, nosy Ogley, nosy Ogley. Okay, I guess it's not that hard. Suddenly, the rest of the Ogley family arrives and Max pulls a I told you so. Again, I know I've driven this point home twice already, but seriously, no one in this universe is at all caught off guard by these green creatures. Max finally gets the machine to spit the Matt suffered was critical and it no longer works. As a thanks, the Ogleys then invite the group into their house, where they gather around the table and eat trash off of plates, kinda like you're cooking. It's here that Max realizes that they don't need the Distinko-Mat after all. The Ogleys can just eat up all the trash.
The Ogleys eat rubbish. They could solve our problem.
Oh yeah, remember earlier when I said the Distinko-Mat doesn't work anymore? Yeah, I lied. After everyone had gone inside, the Distinko-Mat had made one final move, excreting green liquid into a flask. Dun dun dun! Cut to Max storming into his father's office, excited to share what had just happened. He goes on about the dump and the Distinko-Mat and the Ogleys, only to find out that his mother has been sitting in the backwards-facing chair this whole time. Carol told Max not to hang out with the crazy scientist earlier in the film, but he went against her wishes anyway. Furious, she grounds Max, but not before he's able to snap a pic of the model of the super spot. Max shares the photo with Lada, and they put 2 and 2 together pretty fast. This rat does too, apparently. Construction hasn't even started yet, and the animals know to pack their belongings. Meanwhile, back at the dump, the Ogleys are really settling into their new home. They're so excited to spend the rest of their lives there, despite only moving in moments ago. The Ogley kids' shared outlook on their new home can be perfectly summarized in one word. Double D's to be exact. Delighted and doubtful. Delighted to have such a nice home, but doubtful because their family's known to move frequently in the past.
Can we really stay in this dump for a while?
A long while?
However, Ugly Dad assures them that they're there to stay, and to prove it to them, he brings them into town so they can be welcomed. Also, the Uglies love their turn of phrases, similar to Blended Blandin from Gravity Falls if you've seen it.
My time knee! Oh, time, dang it!
Only, instead of putting time in front of everything, they just replace parts of words with og.
Absolutely.
Would have been a lot better if they replaced it with pog. Am I right, gamers? Oh! And currently, Carol is beginning to put her plan into action. But first, she gives Max more cello practice to make sure that he won't get into any more trouble. Unsurprisingly though, Max sneaks out a good 15 seconds after his mom leaves the premises. Off to the dump, Max goes with Lotta to notify the Oglies about the super spa that's being built. Once again, they see the Oglies. This time they're playing the real-life equivalent of whack-a-mole, except instead of a hammer, it's shit, and instead of moles, it's green trash-eating monsters. Here it's revealed that the baby Ogly is freakishly strong, as she completely flips her entire family onto their heads. She also throws feces in the faces of Max and Lotta, which is always fun. After exchanging pleasantries, the entire Ogly family decides to dip so the Ogly kids can have fun with Max and Lotta. They help on Firebottom, who has a car exhaust on his side for some reason, and they're on their way. Max and Lotta tell the Ogly kids what they've learned, and they decide to go into town to get more information about the company that's constructing the super spa. However, they only have 2 bikes for transportation. Now you'd think the sensible thing to do is have the children bike because they know how, and the Oglies are smaller than them considerably. Plus, it's unlikely that the Oglies even know how to ride a functioning bike considering all they've ever known is living inside of dumps. But nope, the Oglies bike instead. Well, let's see what Mr. Hammer's up to. He hasn't gotten screen time in a while. Here he elaborates on his super villainous plan, which consists of just building spas on the town surrounding dumps.
If I build the temple on the rubbish dump, and then a new rubbish dump somewhere else, and I'm building twice, and then the new rubbish dump will smell even worse, and so we build another temple again on top of it, and build a new dump again, and so on, and so on.
He's acting like he's deforesting and displacing poor people with new condos, but no, it's just the dump. And as far as he knows, no one even lives there. When asked by one of his men why he would do all this, he says so he can make the town bankrupt somehow.
And the town runs out of money.
But why and how does that even make any sense? Is he using the town's funds to build this spa? I don't know, man, but he's evil. Just don't look into it too much. Either way, it's now time for the most suspenseful scene of the entire film. I'll play it here for you now. Pretty sick, right? Yeah, I'm just messing with you. Here's the actual scene.
Is that what you mean?
Yep, that's it.
Oh!
Max, what? Whoa.
Everyone in this movie could not give a fuck.
Farting fly!
Nothing excites these people. At interim, the Oglies land smack dab in the middle of Smellyville, to the dismay of the townsfolk. Upon arriving, the surrounding humans all flock to the police station to notify the single cop that's in this town that there's aliens outside. And surprisingly, this one-man police force has SWAT armor in their arsenal, which is pretty convenient. While the cop is gearing up to face the Oglies, it's revealed that Ogly Grandpa is an alcoholic.
It's not even 12 o'clock yet.
Ah, talk away, woman.
Unscrew the shit.
The cop then comes out and confronts the Oglies, asking if they're aliens, but it's quickly cleared up when they explain that they're not aliens, they're Oglies.
Are you aliens?
Well, no, of course not.
We're Oglies.
They're just uglies. I'm gonna go finish my nap.
And everyone in the town is just chill with that conclusion. I cannot stress enough how unbothered the people in this universe are to supernatural beings. I mean, at least they had a normal reaction initially, but still. I'm running out of transition words, but back to Max. Max lifts the garage door, which confuses Lotta for some reason, and comes out with the construction plans for the super spa entitled Wellness Temple. Naturally, the Oglies ask,
What's a wellness temple?
they don't sound like that. I don't know why I did that. But there's no point in asking a boy that question.
There's no point in asking a boy that question.
Somehow implying that boys are more disgusting than the present company. I mean, maybe men, but that's like a whole different thing. So Lotta pulls out a video on her phone to show the Oglies what a wellness temple is, and they are absolutely disgusted by this. So not only are the Oglies smelly, filthy creatures, but they're also repulsed by cleanliness, which means they'd probably love your cooking. Meanwhile, Mr. Hammer and his crew arrive at the dump to start construction. But oh no! Aliens, or cosplay fans,
I don't care if they're aliens or cosplay fans.
are inhabiting the dump. The Oglies, the good neighbors that they are, decide to invite the men into their home.
Please come in.
You heard her, men.
Only they don't join them? Yeah, they just kind of chill out front while they're in there. Mr. Hammer decides to stay out front with the Oglies because, I mean, well, yeah, look at their front door. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable decision. Ugly Dad introduces himself and asks for Hammer's name, and Hammer replies, damn. But he was saying damn in response to a text message he read from Carol. The men exit the house saying, quote unquote, we're done, boss, and dip. But it's really unclear what they're done with. I mean, they were never even given any directions, and we have no idea what they did in there. Then it seems like the writers forgot to have Mr. Hammer confront the Oglies earlier on, because before he leaves, he says,
And if you are still here tomorrow, we'll be back.
which isn't even really a threat, right? I mean, he didn't tell them about anything. Like, he could have at least mentioned that they were building something there, right? It's kind of like Mr. Krabs in that one episode.
Even if I have to come back tomorrow, and the next day, 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 and the next day,
Phone call, Mr. Plankton.
and the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
Either way, they missed a huge opportunity here. Roll the clip.
And then things will get ugly.
Really? Come on, it's right there! Things will get ugly, you idiot! Yo, can you keep it down? I'm trying to read Diary of a Wimpy Kid over here. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to, is it okay if I just keep filming? Yeah, man, just don't fucking scream. Max, Lotta, and the Ogley twins arrive immediately after Hammer and his crew leave. They try and inform the rest of the Ogleys that a spa is going to be built there, but they just completely disregard everything that they have to say. I'll just show you the scene because their reasoning for not believing the kids doesn't even really make any sense.
Firstly, nothing's going to be built here today, as you can see. Secondly, that delightful man is called Mr. Dam. And thirdly, he's just helped us decorate the new cave.
So then we don't have to leave again?
Maggoty mud socks. Of course not.
Okay, this could just be me, but does Lotta sound like she randomly turned British here?
And the shouty guy is definitely called Hammer, not Dam.
I don't mean to shit on the voice actor, it's probably a child, but just something I noticed.
He's had more construction scandals than my uncle's got test tubes. Huh? There's stuff here about a concert hall and a German airport, never finished.
So it's true. We'll have to leave again.
That's not fair! We never do anything wrong.
But that doesn't matter. People say we're weird or we smell bad.
And some people say we're just too green.
And then they tell us to scram.
Okay, now here, it seems like this is the message of the film. It's some sort of metaphor about inclusion. But I don't know, maybe don't use smelly people whose entire culture is based around eating and being trash. Seems sort of counterproductive. In order to make sure that the Ogleys are not to move again, Max suggests that they follow Mr. Hammer on Firebottom to see what he's up to. Turns out, Hammer was meeting with Carol again, so they decided to hover outside her window, and the Ogleys use their hearing horns that they have on the top of their heads that weren't mentioned until now to kind of eavesdrop in on them. They learned that Hammer has suggested a citizens meeting so that they could get the Ogleys out of the dump rather than just bulldozing over them, even though Mr. Hammer didn't seem totally opposed to it.
We can't just bulldoze the whole thing, can we?
So Max and the crew go back to the dump to notify the rest of the Ogleys. Before that though, Carol decides to check in on Max, who's supposed to be doing work, when she gets a phone call. Except, instead of ever answering, she just sort of talks while the incoming call screen is still clearly there. But what's the scientist been up to, you ask? Well, he just discovered that green liquid that has been excreted from the Distinko-mat from earlier. He puts it together that it must be the essence of Ogley Grandma, the one who got sucked into the machine. While he's celebrating, there's a knock at the door.
Ah, Lady Mary.
What? It's Carol! That's right, the same Carol that doesn't want Max hanging out with that scientist is going to meet that scientist. Turns out she gets some sort of anti-stress drop from the sky and she needed a refill. But uh-oh, it's in the same type of flask as the Ogley juice. You would never predict what happens next. Unless you predicted that he was gonna give the wrong flask to Carol. Then, oh yeah, I guess you did predict it. Naturally, Carol takes a huge swig of the Ogley juice, burps, and leaves. Upon arriving home, she says,
Farting flies home at last.
which is funny because it means that the Ogley potion, alongside burping, has the side effect of just adding disgusting catchphrases to your vocabulary. Max arrives soon after and gets in a huge argument with his mom on whether or not the Ogleys should be able to stay in the dump. Ultimately, they don't come to an agreement, and Max decides to take matters into his own hands. Oh, excuse me, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I've just been sitting here watching the entire time. From future you to past you, you've been filming for a while, so why don't you just take a break, relax, and regroup tomorrow? I suppose you're right. Alright. Next day. His plan? Swap the Super Spot construction plans with fake ones that he drew in his room. However, after Max goes and swaps the plans, he hears rustling downstairs, so he goes to check it out. And wouldn't you know it, there's an Ogley raiding his kitchen. And to the viewers, it's painfully obvious that the Ogley he sees is his mom, but Max takes a little bit longer to figure that out. So Carol hears Max, gets startled, and runs, and Max chases her for a good 3 minutes until arriving at the dump. There, he loses her. But he does find a bomb that's set to go off at 12 p.m. the next day, but he's completely oblivious to the fact that it's a bomb. While he stands in front of this ticking clock fire extinguisher trying to figure out what it is, one of Hammer's men kidnaps him. Mr. Hammer decides to keep Max in the back of his van until the bomb goes off so he won't be able to interfere any longer. Which would be a smart idea if he had interfered at all earlier. I mean, as far as Mr. Hammer knew, Max doesn't know about anything. Like, yeah, he's been doing detective work, but that's only for the viewers to know. Mr. Hammer shouldn't know about that. Unless he's some sort of omnipotent being, but I don't think so. Actually, it's pronounced omnipotent. You're still reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Not only has it been a day, but it's also been like, what, 20 months? I'm not even the January 2023 version of myself. I'm the September 2024 version. Hey man, time is relative. Either way, it's time for a citizens meeting. D-Day. Hammer and Carol stand in front of the townsfolk to discuss what's happening at the dump. However, Mr. Hammer sees that his balloon bomb that's going off has his construction symbol plastered on the side of it. He frantically calls one of his men and tells them to take care of it, because obviously he doesn't want this coming back to him. I will say though, props to Hammer for bidding the Uglies to come to town hall rather than just killing them while they're at the dump. I guess he's not that bad after all. No, wait, never mind, the kids are still there. Man, fuck this guy. Thankfully, Hammer's construction guy was able to defuse the bomb before it exploded. But within all the chaos and running amok, the Ugly kids broke Max out of the back of the van, and they are mad. Quickly, they tie up the construction guy's legs with rope, pop the balloon, and send him flying. Meanwhile, at the citizens meeting, Carol shows the construction plans for the super spa to everybody. But oh no, those aren't her plans. Those are Max's fake plans. This information is just too much for Carol to handle. She can't even get a word out. Instead, she just downs her anti-stress drops. But oh no! Those aren't what they're supposed to be either! It's the Ugly juice! So Carol transforms into a full Ugly again, but this time in front of all the townsfolk. Everybody's freaking out, Hammer's calling it a conspiracy, the Italian guy from earlier is Marmalade again, just total mayhem. Out front, more mayhem. Lada has formed a protest to preach
Cabbage Crisp and Beetle here! The Uglies are most welcome here!
Which I guess it's just because those are like trash things that they eat. I don't know. During all this, Hammer's able to slip away, so he decides to drive to the dump so he can settle the situation once and for all. The Uglies, as well as Carol, hop on Firebottom and head towards the dump also. Now, a little weird detail here is that Lada's able to realize that the new Ugly is Max's mom, despite not being present for the transformation.
What happened to Max's mother?
And I mean, yeah, it looks just like her, but Max couldn't do the same earlier in the film. At the dump, Hammer strangely disses kindergarten teachers while telling his men to get to work already.
Or should I hire kindergarten teachers instead?
Which, I mean, I guess this movie is supposed to appeal to kids, and kids hate teachers, but still, damn. Oh shit, Mr. Damn. I get it. But for real, shitting on teachers? Not cool. Underpaid and underappreciated as is, there's no reason to add fuel to the fire. Regardless, the construction workers march on. The kids and the Uglies pretend to surrender, but sneak attack the men using the baby Ugly as a weapon of ass destruction. Get it? Cause shit. It took me an hour to think of that joke. The men flee, so Hammer hops in the bulldozer and is like, I'm gonna do it myself. Suddenly, Firebottom and the rest of the crew swoops in. Max tells his mom about everything that Hammer did, and boy is she mad.
Mom! You look pretty angry!
Carol jumps onto the bulldozer and just lets Hammer have it. But Hammer slams the brakes, which sends Carol flying, despite them only traveling at 2 miles per hour. Hammer continues to bulldoze on, attempting to run over Carol, despite, again, only traveling 2 miles per hour. But the Uglies save the day, lifting the bulldozer over their head and rendering Mr. Hammer useless. Then Carol, as a sort of final blow, burps in Hammer's face, and it's a big one. Carol thanks the Uglies for the help, but they explain that it's just what the Uglies do, and
by the looks of you, you're practically family.
Huh?
And only now does she realize that she's turned into an Ugly. Not earlier when she was freaking out and everyone was pointing at her. Not 2 seconds ago when she took a huge jump on the bulldozer and had the most Brobdingnagian burp ever.
What, you got like a word-a-day calendar or something?
But now, she doesn't stay an Ugly for long though, because the scientist comes zooming in with a potion to reverse the ugliness. But wait, if in order to become an Ugly you need the essence of an Ugly, doesn't that mean that he needs the essence of Carol? How did he manage to do that?
How did you get the essence of my mother?
The essence of a lady is in her handbag.
Oh, okay. Cool. Anyway, Carol then goes to deal with Mr. Hammer to make sure that he doesn't get away. But, I mean, shouldn't we have been doing that this entire time? Like, how did nobody think of that earlier? Sure enough, he ran away. I mean, he had so much time to do so. But Max remembers that Mr. Hammer stole his phone, or his mobile, as everybody seems to call it in this movie. But yeah, Hammer stole his mobile earlier when he was kidnapped. So Max tells Lada to call his phone.
Lada, call my mobile! Huh?
And sure enough, Hammer's still in the dump. So Firebottom flies over to him, picks him up, and brings him back. Ugly Grandma picks up Mr. Hammer, shakes him, and out falls a bunch of phones. This guy's practically Saul Goodman with all these burners. Then, Hammer gets arrested, and the day is saved. Woohoo! The Uglies still decide to leave though, because it's clear that they're not wanted there.
Come on, children. It's time.
I think it's obvious that these people don't want us here.
But Carol, with a change of heart, convinces them to stay.
Please, stay.
However, she still decides to go through with the wellness temple. Only this time, they're using Max's fabricated plans instead of the real ones. And that's basically it. The dump is transformed into an amusement park, essentially, and instead of Hammer and his men being in jail, they're used as entertainment where you could throw shit at their faces. Now, I couldn't include every single silly, goofy phrase this movie had, but I did want to somehow share them with you, so here's a quick text scroll. Anyway, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching to the end. You're a real one. If you like this video and you want me to do more like it, be sure to let me know. Was that a smooth transition? Probably not. I'm probably not gonna do more videos like this. Ultimately, it's just not my cup of tea. The only reason I made this video to begin with was because over a year ago, I wanted to start getting into YouTube to help towards my film career, and the only YouTubers I watched were like Danny Gonzalez, Curtis Connor, Drew Gooden, Jarvis Johnson, you know, Chad, can't forget Chad. I didn't know what kind of content to make because that was all that I really watched, but I think I've kind of figured out what I want to do now. So I still wanted to finish this video because, again, I put so much time into it, but this really isn't my niche, I suppose. But stick around because I'll definitely be making more videos. I should have at least another 2 videos coming out this week. So, you know, one of them is already done while I'm filming this, and the other one is a work in progress. But I don't plan on uploading this until I have all 3 done, so that's the plan. They should be out within a week. But, you know, as I aforementioned, my goal is to be a film director one day, and sorry, I don't have a teleprompter, so I have a script right on my laptop. I'm just gonna read it from there because I don't feel like memorizing it anymore. My goal is to be a film director one day, so I'm definitely gonna try and practice cinematography and more stuff in the vein of like short films, but I'm also just a silly, goofy guy at heart, so there's definitely gonna be some skits coming your way. But also, I might dip my toes into some music creation, you know, maybe some music videos going along with it. Maybe I'm hinting at what's coming out later this week, who knows? You know, just whatever my heart desires. So if you wanna be part of my creative endeavors, I'd be more than happy to have you here. And if not, I appreciate you making it this far to begin with. You're a real one. If you like this video, leave a like and comment down below what you liked about it. And if you didn't like it, leave a comment down below lying so I won't feel bad. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Both links are in the description. I've definitely been more active on there, but I'm trying to be more active on here moving forward. It's just so much easier to make low effort content on those platforms because, I don't know, like I can just do silly, goofy stuff that doesn't matter as much, but I feel like I want my YouTube channel to be a space where I have the long to produce projects that I'm really proud of. So, plus I'm just getting back to college and I have work, so, you know, life is busy, but I'll certainly do my best. Anyway, I appreciate you giving me your time, and I hope that you have an amazing day today, tomorrow, and the next day. And if anyone hasn't told you recently, I'm proud of you. Peace.